Okay. All right, we're good.
The use of token economies at Halls Elementary School, presented by Cecilia, Sigrist, Laken, Stokes, Krista, Cantarini, and Emily Echelberry. With multiple behaviors shown across grade and age levels in an elementary setting, it can be difficult to find a plan for reinforcement that will be effective for all. Token economies provide a behavior intervention plan that can be used universally in a classroom setting and can also be adjusted for age appropriateness, target behaviors, and individualized needs. The benefits of token economies to manage large group behaviors is why it was selected as the primary and initial behavior implementation for Halls Elementary. It is believed that with proper explanation and training to staff, this will be an effective method to reduce target behaviors with minimal cost, time, or disruption to the classroom flow.
Okay, so I'm going to share some information about the token economy. Specifically, I will talk about what it is and how it works. First, a little background on the token economy intervention. For those of you who are unfamiliar with token economies, they are based on a systematic reinforcement of a target behavior. So basically, this means that once the desired behavior is observed, the student is rewarded for engaging in the behavior. It's important to disclose that the student is not being reinforced automatically with the big ticket item as soon as they display the target behavior. They're actually being given a series of conditioned reinforcers that can be traded in for that big ticket item, which is known as a backup reinforcer. There are many different materials that can be used as the conditioned reinforcer, some of which include tokens, points, or check marks on a board or a chart. Some examples of backup reinforcers that have been proven to be effective can include prizes that have value to the person, treats, and potential leisure activities. So moving on to the next slide, I'll discuss a little bit about how exactly the token economy works. So as stated in the previous slide, token economy involves the use of tokens to exchange for a backup reinforcer when a certain number of target behaviors have been observed. So a little bit more detail on each of those components. A token is used to reinforce the instance an individual engages in the target behavior. It's important to remember that these tokens do not have value outside of the intervention itself, and that value only lies in the exchange of those earned tokens for other things. So in terms of the backup reinforcers that the students can earn, it's also important to note that for the backup reinforcer to work, it must have value to the individual. So therefore, a good token economy intervention offers choices for those backup reinforcers. So the person can pick for themselves what they would like to work for. And lastly, for the intervention to be successful, there must be a clearly defined target behavior that everyone can observe and deliver that token for. So consistency is key within the intervention.
Okay, I'm going to talk about some benefits of a token economy. One, this gives a child immediate feedback on their behavior and a child learns the correct behaviors. Token economies can be easily to implement and produce quick results as well as easily understood by students. Token economies can focus on a group of students and still adjust a variety of behaviors. The behaviors learned from the token economy can be implemented towards other behaviors outside of the school setting as well. It permits the reinforcement of a response at any time. It bridges the delay between target responses and backup reinforcement. And lastly, token economies allow students to work towards a goal that they can feel a sense of accomplishment from.
What tier can a token economy be used for? Token economies have been found to be the most effective in classroom settings to manage different behavior issues, peer relations, and academic tasks. That would be a universal tier. So tier 1 is what it is most often used and found to be the most effective in. However, token economies and the reinforcers can be modified, so it can be used with tiers 2 and 3 as well. You can modify the reinforcers to be effective with both groups of children or individuals. So token economies can benefit all tiers. How does the token economy reduce target behaviors? Token economies encourage and motivate children to increase some behaviors while reducing others. This works because both immediate and delayed reinforcers are utilized. The student can get immediate reinforcement by earning a token, so they will continually do that, but the desired reinforcer must be earned by receiving multiple tokens. Because of this combination of both the immediate and delayed reinforcers, the behavior is reinforced often, but the student will still continue the behavior in order to receive more tokens and gain a larger reinforcer.
These are just some examples that we have of like token boards that can be utilized within the token economy. So as you can see here, in the bottom left, we have an example of a token board where the child has up in the right-hand corner the big ticket item, so the backup reinforcer that they're working for, and then underneath they would accrue all these tokens and then trade them in for whatever their big ticket item is. And it's the same in the upper right, it's just another version. They don't have to work for they don't have to get as many tokens to trade in for their backup reinforcer in this example. So it says up at the top there, I kept my hands to myself today. So they're rewarded with 4 tokens, and then once they earn those 4 tokens, it says that they get a prize. So these are just 2 examples that we included in here. Obviously, you can modify them to whatever works for your specific student or for your specific classroom. But these are just some good examples that we found to include.
All right, so materials needed for the particular token economy that we are doing. We need box charts for every classroom to keep track of all the students and how they do. We're going to use check marks for the boxes, if they display the appropriate behavior. Backup reinforcer for the big ticket prize. Pizza party, movie day, extra recess time, get out of homework pass. We will need tape for the walking lines on the floor, signs for entry and exit on doors for classrooms, and data as well as data collection tools.
Who will implement? The teachers and possibly the principal will be the one implementing this strategy. Halls Elementary is typically understaffed. Therefore, it is very important that the staff are properly trained so they can be as efficient as possible. Teachers will be responsible for explaining how token economy works, as well as having the children complete surveys so they know which rewards will be the most functional. Teachers will also demonstrate appropriate hall behaviors through illustrations and activities with the children. Teachers will also be monitoring the hallways. Finally, teachers will translate final data that's collected into tokens. Halls Elementary teachers will also be provided a 2-hour workshop for all teachers, as well as additional curriculum if they choose. Having teachers being educated and well-versed on token economies is very important because, like I said earlier, since Halls Elementary, they have low staffing, it's very important that teachers know this very well so they can implement it correctly. Conclusion. Token economy has great potential for Halls Elementary. Some of the benefits that token economy can provide to the school are the following. Token economies can set clear goals and expectations for the students. It can also provide additional structure to the school days. Kids typically will know what they're expected throughout the day, which will be better for the children so they know how they can go about their day trying to earn their rewards. Token economies are relatively cost efficient as opposed to similar strategies that may involve more extensive training or technology. This is very easy to implement, and you could use stickers or check boxes, and those are not cost. And like it was said earlier in materials needed, some of the rewards actually don't cost money. It could be an extra 15 minutes. Now, some may, which could be candy or the bigger ticket item, but it can be very efficient when it comes to price or cost. Token economies are also an easy concept to understand for teachers and students. This is very important because students have to understand what they're working towards. So the easier the concept, the more likely the kids will be able to complete or to work towards the reward at a higher success rate. And then finally, token economies also allows for teachers to show their creativity. Teachers will have flexibility when it comes to how they will give out tokens and what the students will be rewarded with.
Okay, and these are just our references that we've included. So that concludes our presentation, and we thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about token economies.